Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and welcome back, of course, to Hull, our lovely little cruiser. Today, on a bit of a change of plan. Originally, I was going to start working on our new structure, but instead we're going to be doing a little bit of redesigning of the hull. In fact, a lot of redesigning, because I want two variants. The first variant you see in front of you is the regular hull. It has cannons, it fires cannons, and it likes cannons. It has shields, and can store 2 aircraft. Yay! Nice and simple, quite cheap-ish for such a large ship, and it gets the job done as a long-range artillery piece with a lot of survival. With a lot of survivability, rather. I can't pronounce that word, hurrah. This one, however, is going to be a missile carrier, because I like missiles. And it dawns on me, as much as I have overdid missiles in the past, I really want a large ship with the express purpose of being a long-range missile launcher, and I think the Hull is the perfect place for that. So today we're going to be doing a bit of rearranging, removing of turrets, adding of new weapons, adding of new turrets, because missile turrets look freaking awesome, possibly even torpedoes, I'm not sure just yet. So first of all, to begin, let's remove that. So I'm going to be working on the back section here quite a bit, and the one big benefit to using missiles means I finally get to use the opening doors here for a purpose, and those being extremely long range. Overpowered, probably 4 or 5 warhead missiles, which will be the main weapon. The front cannons will be converted, obviously there'll be a lot less of them because missiles will get in each other's way a bit easier, and they will be missile launchers, possibly torpedo launchers, and I think I'll be keeping these 2 cannons. So, let's get to work. I'll probably do a lot of editing right now, a lot of cutting, because it's going to be a bit of a long process, as I've got some plans. Kind of a sad sight, but there we go. All of the top section has been completely stripped, and I've also removed all of the gun turrets, basically declawing the hull, so now it is literally just an empty hull. I've also extended the back, so it's more symmetrical down the middle, and thus there's a lot more space to work with. I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do this, honestly, so it's going to be a lot of trial and error trying to figure out how the missile systems are going to be set up, because it's a lot of space to fill, and I'm actually tempted to shrink the hull a little bit, but I'm not too certain just yet. All I know for certain is that these 2 will be the ultimate hangar bays, and will contain the larger weapons, the larger missiles. Is it this one which makes them open? Yes, it is, 90 degrees, there we are. Lovely. Opens up, and let's lose hell. So that's definitely going to stay there. I'm not sure about the rest. Torpedo turrets, I'm almost certain I'm going to add on the front here. That's why I've left this space so flat at the moment. And I'm not sure about the smaller missiles. Do I want them on turrets? Do I even want to have missile turrets? Do I want to have perhaps some AA guns? Actually, now I've said that, yeah, perhaps I could do some anti-air kind of flak cannons to kind of make this an anti-air cruiser. I mean, that could be the point of it, to protect the original hull. Lots of plans and lots of ideas. As I kind of throw things together, I'm slowly getting an idea of how I'm doing this. So we are definitely going down the flak cannon route. These are going to be small, inaccurate cannons which can fire a rapid fire. So the whole point is, of course, killing the air units which harass us. But of course, the missiles themselves, I will have many which are against them as well. So we have the main body kind of coming along here. The command bridge is going to be up here, and that will contain at least one of the flak cannons. I'm thinking about having 3, some possibly on the side, because I've always wanted the guns similar to the, what's it called now? The paddle gun, I believe it's called. The one from the Deepwater Guard that shoots rapid fire from spin block turrets. They're not actually spin blocks, are they? No, they do spin, they do look like spin blocks, and I incorrectly thought they were. They're just turrets on their side. Side-mounted turrets, there's the thing. So I do kind of want that. The area in the front here is definitely going to be torpedoes, although I'm going to have to put a lot of constraints on them so they don't shoot everything I love and own. And then down these strips will be missile systems, probably varying missile systems with each area. And I'm kind of going for like a beam kind of pattern here. So that's how I'm doing it so far, trying to skip ahead in every stage of planning. Testing in 3, 2, 1. Please don't blow up my ship, that's it. Okay, so the first missile system is now active, and yeah, it should go about 1,300, I imagine. Actually, I could just check by pressing caps lock. Oh, but it went further than expected. Fantastic. So, these are extremely fast, quite nasty missiles on the front, which are going to cost me a fortune in resources. There are definitely more efficient ways to make them, but these are mine, and they are also quite good at turning, because I had a little experiment using the one-turn system. So everything's good there. So first missile system is now in place, using this as kind of like a runway for it. Ignore the damage. It's almost as if I was messing around with proximity warheads by mistake, instead of adding a different item to the missile. Well done me. Okay then, continuing onwards. It's that time in the video where some science has to be done. I've just started working on the silo in the back with the opening wooden panel doors, and it dawns on me I really do need to test them as soon as possible because, well, if they aren't working correctly, as soon as we go into battle, they'll blow up every single missile in there and everything will go horribly wrong horribly fast. We don't need another hull sinking, particularly not the more expensive missile variant, in which there's probably only going to be one in existence at any given time. So, if all things work out, I'm yet to actually test it. I have tested the main missiles again and they work just fine, and do as much damage as I expected. But yeah, if everything works out as planned, the doors should open straight away as soon as an enemy is detected. Then after 4.5 seconds, the missile should be launched. That is, if everything goes according to plan. 4.5, actually no, it's just 4 exactly, isn't it? I'm thinking about a different delay on the spin blocks, whoops-a-daisy. But yeah, and then after an enemy is defeated, it should take 40 seconds, and then the door should once again close, giving the missiles plenty of time to fire off any payload they still have. So let's just hope it works. Enemy Marauder, because we always test on the poor things. Go! Okay, it's opening. Not firing yet. I have protected it with metal now. Ow. And let's see if our weapons are a little bit stronger than theirs. So these are quite basic long-range missiles. Double warhead, random block targeting. That's why they're going everywhere, which looks awesome, I may say. And they go about 2,000 meters, and they're probably what I'm going to be using because I use the variable thrusters. They're probably what I'll be using in the back there, but in much higher number, since even with dual warhead, they're not that powerful, but of course in extreme numbers, then they'll be absolutely fine. Still plenty to destroy a Marauder, but that's because a Marauder is made out of, well, majority is wood, with a little bit of metal here and there for looks. Must be said, I do love the new Marauder. It looks freaking fantastic. I always feel really bad about my own building skills, honestly, whenever I look at even the Deepwater Guard, and it's just like, oh, that's so beautiful. Then there's my stuff. Though, to be honest, I am quite liking how this thing's turning out. Okay, that should be finished. So now, after 40 seconds, the doors should start to close. If the spin block is still there. Actually, is it 40 seconds or is it 60? I can't remember which one. Oh, it's 20. Yeah, I saved it like that. Wow, I can't even remember what I'm doing myself. It is currently 4 AM, to be fair. There we go. Nice and closed. Perfect. Back to the campaign, then. You know, I think people are getting the wrong impression that I actually like missiles or something, but honestly, I don't know where people are getting the idea from that I possibly absolutely adore these things. Swarm missiles. I'm actually thinking about allowing all those to fire at once and have the random targeting on them, because that would be freaking awesome. In fact, I probably will, because they're a bit too small. So I've made a rather large missile turret on top. We have the extra large missiles there. We now have upgraded missiles in the back. We're getting close to being able to test this in a battle. The shields are basically up once again. They're invisible, so pretty much hard to see. The only thing they're not covering currently is the new turret. The anti-missile system also needs to be updated, but we are getting very close to having our own little missile cruiser. Hurrah! Although it does need a bit more, like I say, it still needs torpedoes on the front, it still needs a bit more bite to it, because honestly I could have had a much smaller ship with the same kind of firepower, so we need to add something to make it a little bit more special. So, after upgrading these missiles, I've decided what I'm going to do. I wasn't going to do this originally because I like the idea of it firing upon one enemy. I'm going to have several mainframes in this ship. So I'm going to have one mainframe per weapon system, essentially, so that each weapon system will prioritize different targets. These are going to be a little bit faster. I will be using variable thrusters soon, so they're going to be rather short range, as I'm going to go with speed over everything else. And I'm going to try to make them prioritize airborne units, so the giant swarm missiles here, well, not giant, but the giant amount, anyway, of the swarm missiles, yay! Of course, they'll all split up if they actually had a target because of the IR cameras, will be mostly targeting airborne, whereas the larger missiles here will be targeting slower units, and the back ones will be targeting pretty much the default, so a nice balance of how close is the thing and such, probably going for further away enemies as they are quite long range. So that's the next thing I'll work on, and then we need to do something. It's very lacking right now. I feel that we don't have enough on this ship to justify its sheer expense and size. Although I am quite happy with how it looks. It's a bit on the garish side, particularly the turret. But honestly, for me, I like it. It's simple. It's nice. It's my kind of style. It looks very defensive. Let me think. What's next? Well, here we go. Although it's certainly not finished just yet, this has took a ridiculous amount of time, and I think I really want to get into a fight. So we've called upon the lovely white flyers to come and meet us in this lovely open bit of water for diplomatic discussions, of course, and nothing heinous will occur. And of course, we are also bringing our serpents and blight bombers along with us because, well, I don't like to fight fair. There we go. Yes. And everything, including you. In fact, particularly you. You're the whole reason we're doing this whole missile. Well, there we go. Hopefully I'm actually on the... Yeah, I am definitely on the hull. I'm going to fall into the thing, aren't I? Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm sorry, but that is certainly a work of art. Okay, missiles. Oh, good, and our new anti-lasers are working with the blue laser, which I kind of want to make a little bit more obvious in the future. But that's not what we're focusing on right now. We're making sure the missiles definitely land on their target, which they do. Fantastic. Oh, the anti-missiles actually work pretty darn well there. Sadly, the enemy are still going for the larger targets, so we are being prioritized over everything else. Is one of their ships sank? Okay, they're ramming each other. And let's actually get a nice view then of this. The anti-missile system's definitely working better than the previous ones, and we're not sinking despite losing some of our health, which is quite good as well. Good, good, good. All working well. Look how many missiles there are! Absolutely fantastic. So, to round it up, we have the back missiles, which are the main ones, which are set to target anything really. The top ones will try and target the turreted top missiles will try and target airborne, and the ones at the very front will only fire if the enemy is in front of us, and will try to target heavier opponents, and by the looks of it, the amount of damage we're doing is actually remarkably good. We're just quite heavily degraded because of the amount of entities, and well, the fact we've got millions of missiles now everywhere. That actually went a lot better than expected. I expected a lot of friendly fire to occur on the ship itself, but no, it seems to be... Wow, yeah, when that actually goes past, that's ridiculous. The turret is also set to only fire once it has every single one reloaded. I do love the fact you can do that with very minimal effort. You know, I don't think we need any more missiles. I honestly thought we was going to need more to make more of an impact, but I think any more would just be ludicrous. This is exactly what I wanted. Did I turn them into fragment? Yes, I did, yes. The small missiles are definitely fragment missiles. I was just thinking if I had kept it as regular or not. Yay, level up! It went through, but then went... Oh, I think it's actually after this one in the first place. It's just that was in the way. Yeah, that does a lot of damage, that volley, when it hits. Then it's got the constant damage. Oh, look, a bomb! Oh, that's perfect mine placement there, sir. So, the big missiles definitely do a massive amount of damage. The constant damage from the back missiles are fantastic, and the volley when it hits from the swarm missiles at the front is something of beauty. So I'm very happy with that. We still haven't added the torpedoes yet. I'm going to make sure they're ballast torpedoes to make sure they can target submarines, but I just really wanted to get into a fight with this thing, and honestly, didn't disappoint at all. Really loved that top turret. It just looks so cool! It's just such an awesome thing to see. There are two which are going significantly faster than the rest. I would like to see why that is. Perhaps I've took damage early on. Yeah, I definitely took damage from some of the enemies early on. Now, am I hitting myself at all? Let's have a quick look. There is a very high potential that we are hitting ourselves, but I don't think we are. No. No, that was just from fighting before. And I have no self-repair. That's the problem. We have no self-repair, and we were hurt earlier by the looks of it, by some missiles that were targeted against us. Definitely, actually, yeah. Though they're not our own, which is lovely. Yeah, those are just thrown by the enemy and they're finally hitting us because that's not what my missiles look like. Okay, so that's why there's some fast ones, but even with the damage taken, we didn't sink, and we did a lot of damage. All the enemies did focus on us, of course, at the start, and did quite a bit of damage to us, but overall, quite happy with that. I've noticed some things I do need to improve, and the anti-missile system, for the most part, was doing quite well. So, let's get some improvements on this, and let's get into another battle. Okay, here we go with the final battle and the final test of our little cruiser. I'm not really holding out too high hopes here, as this is most likely going to be a purely or mostly airborne enemy. Oh, yep, apparently purely airborne enemy, and what I'm testing out is the ability of the target precision guidance systems in the turret and the main weapon to actually target the enemy flyers. These are the elements which allow missiles to try to intercept enemies as opposed to simply going straight for them and probably being outpaced. So, here we go. Though before we start, I will say that most likely the turret will be removed after this video because I've decided it would be better to either remove it or keep it as an anti-naval weapon, as really trying to fight airborne units with it isn't really the smartest. So, here we go. Well, there we go. So our Serpents are moving to engage over there, along with the Blight Bombers, and we have our lovely cruiser here firing away. Oh lord, that's going to hurt so much. I can't see all those missiles being stopped. Well, that's one of them out of the sky straight away from the turret fire, and there goes the second shot. Absolutely everywhere because of how they're trying to intercept with the enemy. Another enemy straight away being downed. Of course, now it gets to the point where it's going to be a little bit more difficult to fight back since they are in extremely close range, which is the big concerning part, honestly. Oh, well, there goes the turrets again, all hitting that target there. Fantastic work, in fact. And our lovely cruiser trying to back off as well. That was actually spectacular. It seems like we did kind of look out though, honestly. That's a lot of very small flyers, and none of the big chunky ones I actually came to kind of expect. That was a stroke of luck there, but yeah, absolutely devastated the enemy, and the missiles did a pretty good job of actually locking on, even the ones from the turret. And then an even better job of ignoring the ones with the AI dead, since of how I've set up the AI to, well, basically do just that. More missiles now landing. And finishing off what is essentially already downed. The double warheads are definitely helping quite a bit. Although I did just fire one straight into the water, so well done, turret. Well, that was a pretty convincing victory, even if it was against airborne. And just look at how many missiles are going against them. Yeah, that's pretty much that. I don't think it's going to survive that volley, and this certainly isn't surviving the constant shots from the silo on the back. Really happy with that, actually. Very, very happy with how that turned out. I did not expect it to do so well, and although we have definitely took some serious damage on the right here, it's being repaired, and we haven't sunk, which is very, very important. We've lost almost, well, we've got every hull over this side breached, but because of how I've made sure it's now more made into separate compartments, we didn't sink. and we destroyed the air, so I'm very, very pleased with that. A lot of very obvious things we need to work on, but overall, already said it about 20 times, very, very pleased. So thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the episode, then of course likes, favourite, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Thank you, and goodbye. Though, do you want to know what's really annoying? Starting to sink very briefly because you go through your allies' minefield. Yeah, the entire front term of the hull just got breached. I am now thankfully floating again, but just for a second there I noticed I was just starting to go under the water. But it seems like it wasn't so much sinking as simply lowering buoyancy, so it went down a bit. Even the top sections here are all completely buoyant.